Wish you all a very good day. I am Gurunada, a lecturer at Pasunwara National College of Education, Kaluthara. Today I am going to reveal my research findings at the DERC 2020 Research Conference under the sub-theme Teachers and Teacher Training. And my topic is effectiveness of online mods for improving communication skills of student teachers of English during stay-at-home period. First of all, let me give a brief introduction. I have selected 88 student teachers of English at Pasunwara National College of Education for my research. The curriculum of the students consists of special, professional, and general components. Apart from the co-curricular and extracurricular activities that they have to complete within a period of 2 years. Student teachers of English at Pasunwara National College of Education learn communicating in English, which comprises the 4 skills: reading, writing, speaking, listening, linguistics, and literature under their special area. Being the lecturer in charge of English of the 2 classes, E1 3 and E1 4, I'm handling English, the 4 skills, especially speaking and listening. At the very beginning, I created 2 Google Classrooms for these classes to send assessments, study materials, activities, and questionnaire. So during the COVID-19 pandemic stay-at-home period, we conduct education online using MS Teams. Let me give brief notes that I have taken from literature. Lynch L 2020 states that when improving communication in online, they should be provided with a sense of community in their online classes. Munda 2015 emphasizes that computer-supported collaborative learning offers possibilities for students' interaction. Michelle S 2020 states that little more planning is needed in an online classroom environment than in a face-to-face classroom. If I talk about the rationale, due to COVID-19 pandemic, all the colleges of education were closed and the education had to be done online. The problem arose on how to conduct speaking activities virtually as we usually do them face-to-face in the authentic classroom. Let me explain the value of the study. I identified certain techniques to conduct speaking activities to make them more authentic and interesting. While they were doing the speaking activities, common errors were identified and grammar and listening activities were created to conduct in order to minimize the errors they committed. Constant practice enabled them to improve 21st century skills such as communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. The objectives of my research are to explore the ability to improve speaking skills of student teachers of English that cater to the teaching skills. Next one, to minimize grammar and language errors by practicing grammar, listening, and error correction activities. I used an action research. 88 student teachers of English were selected for my research, and the purposive sampling method was employed. I conducted a pre-test, a story building activity. It's an individual activity. So when they were doing the story building activity, I noted down all the errors, and they were given marks under the criteria: fluency and coherence, vocabulary, accuracy, and pronunciation. The language errors identified during their speaking activities: errors on preposition, tenses, parallel structures, and pronunciation. During the intervention, cycle 1, I gave them speaking activities. Speaking activities were conducted every Monday, and their errors were noted down. Accordingly, I created grammar and listening activities. These listening activities comprise IELTS listening conversations and songs. Then they were sent through Google Classroom. They were given enough time to do these activities, and every Friday I discussed these grammar activities and did the listening activities. Topics and materials for them were sent 15 minutes before the activity. I have 2 leaders from 2 different classes. They have their own WhatsApp groups. So the students were put into groups of 5. These materials and topics were sent by these leaders when I sent those topics to them, topics and materials to them. The speaking activities thus conducted were story building, role plays, panel discussions, and forums. So when it comes to role plays, I gave them situations to act out the roles, and I showed them short films, so they had to take the roles and act out. And there was one to talk about the whole episode. When it comes to panel discussions, I gave them topics and I sent them materials. So they have to get ready, contact each other, contact their friends, and they have to do the session. So at the very beginning, I noted down all the errors committed by the students and discussed at the end. But later on, I identified it was not very effective because they committed the same error again and again. Therefore, after each group activity, I discussed the errors they committed. When it comes to data collection, I used the pre-test marks and questionnaire 5-point Likert scale. Question of 6 questions to circle or underline their preferences and 4 open-ended questions. After collecting all their questionnaires, I selected 20 questionnaires from 2 different classes and they were analyzed using Microsoft Excel. So these are the graphs I created through the data analyzed. So from this analysis, it was revealed that students are very positive about engaging studies online because 40% strongly agree and 40% agree. And when it comes to the effectiveness of doing online for gaining knowledge, 60% agree that online modes are effective for gaining knowledge. 45% agree and 50% have a neutral attitude about conducting speaking activities online. And 70% of students agree that conducting grammar and listening activities are helpful to correct their mistakes. When it comes to the activities that's conducted are helpful to improve 21st century teaching skills, 40% strongly agree and 45% agree. When it comes to conducting group and pair work through online modes, only 3% agree and 50% have a neutral idea. Therefore, I have to think of some effective ways of organizing my speaking activities and to implement them in a very meaningful way in my second cycle. When it comes to section 2, the online modes used by the students are MS Teams, Zoom, Google Classroom, WhatsApp, and YouTube. The difficulties they encountered when conducting speaking activities online were the disturbances due to external sounds. They had connection problems, issues due to poor signal, and difficulties in screen sharing. They think that stage fear cannot be eradicated through these online modes because they feel that there's no audience. And they had problems of confidence. Then because now in these classes, all 45 students join in these activities, then they think that when all students join, disturbances are high, and they can't see the facial expressions and gestures because their videos are turned off. They have given some suggestions for the question how to overcome these difficulties. They suggest it's better to have a small number of participants at one time. And when the number is less, video can be opened. Again, they suggest that to reduce the time of the session, because if you take all the 45 students, it takes about nearly 3 hours. They have suggested me, they can record the speeches and send it to me, then I can do the corrections. And I can identify their mistakes and help them to do the corrections. When it comes to the question, difference between online class and face-to-face class, they say that they can reduce stage fear in the face-to-face interactions. Also, they suggest that this mod is good, but not better than live classrooms. Let me come to the conclusion. From conducting these speaking activities, it was identified that when speaking, teachers make mistakes in pronunciation, especially the s sound, school. Instead of school, they say school, student, scholarship. Sometimes it is fossilized. They make mistakes in the parallel structures, prepositions, and tenses. Also, speaking activities can be conducted effectively if we plan them properly and implement them properly. So I recommend that online mods can be used as effective platforms for teaching student teachers virtually during stay-at-home period to improve 21st century teaching skills such as communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. So these are the references I used for my research. So there are some that I have to pay my gratitude, especially my student teachers of E13 and E14 class and the 2 leaders of these 2 class for their immense support in implementing these activities properly. Then I would like to give my gratitude to the organizing committee of the DERC 2020 Research Conference for giving me the opportunity to reveal my research findings. Thank you.